Regional media projects like television shows and movies will get more support in funding as the Singapore government sets aside $20 million in a call for partners to jointly fund these projects. The financing partnership program is the first of its kind in Southeast Asia, and it was announced by Communications and Information Minister S. Iswaran at the Asia TV Forum and Market and Screen Singapore event today. And here to tell us more is Howie Lau, IMDA's Chief Industry Development Officer.
Howie, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
So tell us how this sort of initiative is going to sort of benefit local sort of content producers here in Singapore.
Well, we announced this because as we look at the industry, Asia is in a nice spot because it is a green spot of growth on a global media scene. And we recognize for the media ecosystem to really thrive, three things need to exist. One is obviously great stories, which we believe we have. Secondly, talent, which we believe we have and will need to continue grooming. And third is to make sure that there's sufficient financing, because the combination of financing, talent, as well as great stories, we believe is necessary for the growth to be continued.
So saying all that, how does the local media landscape, how does Singapore's media ecosystem stack up against other countries?
Well, I think we do have a diverse and very vibrant ecosystem, because you look at what's happening on the media world is that besides the growth in Asia, tech and media are coming together in a huge way. And in Singapore, we have a combination of the global media giants like Netflix, like Disney, HBO One, all having headquarters here, ByteDance, CJ Group, all having headquarters here. If you're looking for tech companies, new media companies like Google and Facebook, they are here. So I think nowhere else in the world that you drive 30 minutes, you can have this wonderful combination of global giants, local companies, whether tech or media. I think we're fortunate that we are a nice space where East meets West and tech meets media as well.
So I guess it's a nice combination to have all these sort of factors at play, but it's taking the first step, I suppose, in pumping in this money to try and draw out more money. Explain to us sort of the thinking behind that process.
Well, as mentioned earlier, talent, stories, financing. This particular fund, the intention is to basically try and create a partnership model with potential fund managers out there to say, hey, come look at Asia. As you look to Asia to be able to provide funding projects for the growth, we're basically dangling a rate packet to hopefully attract more rate packets to come into Asia. Because at the end of the day, this ecosystem can only benefit with greater liquidity and greater financing.
But then there are also more greater emphasis on made in Singapore. So what can we expect? What kind of productions are we expecting to see from this made in Singapore production then?
Well, actually we've shifted our focus from made in Singapore, made by Singapore to made with Singapore. Because what has happened is that the world that we are in now is hyper-connected. And what it means is that the opportunity for our storytellers to now reach a regional and global stage is there because the platforms are available. So Made with Singapore is a concept that basically says, create the opportunities for our local companies and our local talent to tell their stories, to create their media capabilities on a regional and global stage, as opposed to just looking at Singapore per se. And that's why we did all the partnership programs that was announced as well.
So it's very exciting if you're a local content maker here in Singapore. It does also mean that you're going to have to raise your game to tie up with sort of international companies and sort of big players like this. Is there going to be help and assistance along the way as well?
Well, I think there's two parts to it. One part is that we believe that we do have a number of good talents that's punching above our weight class. I think recently we saw a number of our filmmakers getting global awards.
Yes, Anthony Chan.
Anthony Chan, Chris Yeo, and there was a sitcom, Fam, that was nominated for International Emmy Best Comedy. Singapore, Best Comedy. But I think just as importantly, we recognize that there needs to be continued effort to build the talent capabilities. So towards that end, IMDA has embarked on a couple of initiatives, a partnership with the British Film Institute, a program called Lord Putnam Producer Lab, apprenticeship program, with that same intent of lifting the game in terms of the talent capability.
Okay.
And what is IMDA doing to encourage locals to support local productions? Especially since we have our own productions that are stacked up against, as you mentioned earlier, that online platforms like Netflix.
Well, I think there's a couple of things. One is that we have also announced today a partnership program with folks like CJ, Tencent, VS Media, Facebook, as well as Viacom. the intent of that is to allow our creator opportunity for our local content creators to partner with these global boys and hopefully to do three things. One is an opportunity for skills and capability transfer. Second is to create new content. And third, access to new markets. So this is basically the intent of the program. So for example, with Facebook, the content creators will go through a 6 to 9 months of mentorship and bootcamp, so that they learn how to do digital videos, how to use data to better analyze audience reactions, and how to do monetization. So we believe that through some of these programs and the innate talent that we have, we'll have a lot more exciting Singapore stories and talent coming up.
Well, looking forward to that. Looking forward to lots of Made with Singapore productions. Thank you so much, Howie Lau, IMDA Chief Industry Development Officer.